Good morning and happy Saturday from across the bread factory here in Orange County, California. We got some crazy winds coming in off the Pacific Ocean. They call it El Nino. I just call it crazy. Now we're back inside of this old 1966 Fender Bandmaster, and we're having fun. We're evacuating and evicting spiders. We're tightening up loose hardware. We're cleaning off oxidation. We're recapping. We're doing the whole thing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Tell your mom and everybody what's going on. Take care out there. Happy weekend. Bye-bye. Good morning, Tim, and the rest of you guys out there. Is it even daylight savings time? Everything's a blur. And I'm back on the iron side of that old 66 Fender Bandmaster. And just wrapping up a cap job over here on the filter pack board underneath that beautiful doghouse. Love it. So your resistors are in spec, even the balance resistors, still balancing. Just look how beautiful that is. Even the grease pencil stuff is still intact. This little powder here is just some residue from the flux that I'm cleaning off presently. But after that, I'm going to button this board back up, and then we'll flip to the other side after I address these sockets. And speaking of those, you can see there's quite a bit of oxidation there on the most important ones. These should be shiny. So you're losing a lot of signal integrity there, especially the plates and the grids. This is responsible for some of the noise we're hearing when you move the tube. Then over here you can see that the pins, the male ends, or the female ends of these pins are pretty relaxed. So we're going to want to retension those guys, and we're going to retension all these guys after we're done. So let me pull out, hang on, let me change camera angles here. So this is the tube that was in your V1 position, the very first preamp tube on the input side of the chassis from the rear. And these Holland labeled Amperex Bugle Boys, that's with a little vacuum tube that has a trumpet there, are some of the finest tubes you can get. In the absence of these, in my own amps that I've either built or that I procured for myself, these and Westinghouse, the old Westinghouse tubes, are my personal favorites, even more than the GEs. So super cool. And then you can tell these are European tubes. When you flip the power on, you should see a flash briefly on the inside of the heaters. And I'm being incredibly careful about not touching the silk screening because it'll just rub right off. But I want you to focus on these socket pins, or rather on these tube pins here. And then you can see, if I could focus, just how corroded they are. So we're gonna use a very nice and gentle brass brush to clean these guys off. So that, in conjunction with the cleaned and retensioned tube sockets, are going to go a long ways towards making this thing perform the best it can, especially in a studio environment. That is more like it. Look at that, brand new. It actually took 3 separate products to do this. Look how nice that looks. And I'll go over that in a future video, because if you do it wrong, and I need to shed a lot of light on that process, if you do it wrong, then you're going to have some issues, and some could be catastrophic. All right, so I'm done with the iron side of the chassis, and now I'm going to move on over to the interior, where I just finished cleaning and relubricating the pots, including the bias pot. That's a lot of things. That's pretty much something that people overlook. You got to do the bias pot also, or else you can have some serious issues. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, and I don't have time to show it, is is I'm going to clean out the margin between this bit of metal here and then the one on the exterior. The one on the exterior carries the signal from your guitar, and then the one on the interior here is what they call the switch. And when nothing is present in the jack, this is connected to ground, and what it does is it grounds the tip out, so you don't have the grid in your tube floating and just acting like an antenna. So that means for whatever channel that's being unused, there's some potential for noise to be generated. So we want to make sure that we clean and scrub out or gently polish and burnish that little margin there where these two contact. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll use a chopstick just to gently separate the two. And then under its own tension, I'll just gently scrub it out like that. And that's all it takes, and I'll do that all the way across. And then take a peek here. Oh, you see this part right here, dude? I'm filming, but you can come in right there. This is a little spider web egg cluster on the inside of this. If you poke that, there's going to be a bunch of dead spiders in there. And then how do they come in? They come in right through these input jacks, right here, boom. And then how do they get inside of the filter pack board is they'll just crawl down these, the little grommets where the wires are passing through. They'll crawl into there and start setting up webs. Those are going to be, these spiders are intelligent. So these will be the predatory types that are more actively engaged in hunting. They're not the kind that are just going to throw a web up and wait for something. These guys know that there's nothing flying around in here. It's pitch black. They're going to set up camp inside of your amp, and then they're going to, whatever room it's in at night, they're going to crawl out and go look for stuff to eat. So one of the things you also want to do, I can't tell you everything step by step right now, but just to go through this, when you're tightening up the hardware on the control panels front and rear, the speakers in particular, the speaker jacks, you want to make sure, and this one is just turning as I try to tighten it, so it doesn't feel like there's a locked or a toothed washer there. Maybe there is, but let's see. And if there's not one there, then we're going to add one there. Oh, I'm in my way. There's two. So they're interfering with each other. And we're going to put this hardware back. Let's see. And it's still nice and flush. As a matter of fact, it's now even with the extension jack. The extension jack, there we go. The extension jack did not have this problem. And now they're perfectly even, as you can see. All right, so one last thing. I keep saying one last thing, but I gotta wrap this up. So your screen grid resistors and then your grid stoppers over there on the power tubes are way out of spec. And I wouldn't mind if they were out of spec evenly, one socket to the next, but they're not. So and plus they kind of look a bit stressed. So I'm gonna remove these guys and replace them with the appropriate components. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit later, and we'll be dealing with these caps here and optimizing the bias filtration supply, or the filter supply. So we have a lot more work to do, but it's moving along. So I'll update y'all shortly. Bye. So one last thing is that we got the go ahead on that ungrounded power cord exchange, and that's what I'm really excited about, is making sure this guy's safe to use. And this will be a very, very willful and compliant studio partner once everything's done.